the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn, or the Dreamcast or the Sega Saturn? Please help me, I don't know what to do! Hi guys, you are back with Durantula90. Welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, I need your help. That's right, I need your help. So the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn are two consoles that failed. You know, they were completely overshot by other systems that came out at the time, as well as they just didn't do very well in general, like the games and stuff like that. But now, as we know, everybody has interest in them. You know, there's a cult following, people want them, people own them. But for me, who doesn't own either and barely played either, the question is, do I really want them? And, you know, usually when I pick up a console or something, I usually buy the games first. But at the same time, I also need to figure out what games I want. And for that, it takes steps. A little bit like this. Step 1. We must actually research the games that came out for that system. Step 2. We must actually look at the gameplay to see, are we actually going to play these games? Are we interested?
Step 3. Is to actually look at the prices. How much are they going to cost me? Which games are the bigger selling games? Which are the ones that are very cheap? Etc. etc.
And step 4. We must actually buy the games. And get the console as well.
So, with that in mind, that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to compile a list of the games and other things that I've been doing to research these consoles and decide which one, or if I'm going to buy both of them. Because it's important for me. Because I feel like that, each one has their own good things about them, obviously. Otherwise people wouldn't want them in general, especially, you know, in today's gaming scene. So with that in mind, I have compiled a list of games which I'm trying to use that as a basis for what I'm actually going to buy. So located very easily to my left, we have my trusty list of games, which I should have counted. So with that in mind, I will count them. Just give me a second.
A few moments later.
So, after looking at the list, we have got 26 Dreamcast games on my list versus the Sega Saturn's 14. So, one of the biggest points that I've kind of got in this kind of battle between which one or both that I buy is that the Sega Saturn one to me is going to be more expensive. Obviously, with stuff like the Panzer Dragoon series, obviously being, you know, one of the biggest and most popular games on the system. Obviously, Panzer Dragoon Saga is about 300, it may even be more now, due to CEX's price ramping. But I'm just going on CEX prices. Obviously, that's not necessarily to say that those are the fixed prices for retro games, because obviously that's not, you know, could be completely overpriced. But yeah, you know, in general, it comes down to just that, doesn't it? It's going, right, I've got 14 games, but then you think that some of the games I want are really expensive, and then in comparison to the lot, and that's not to say that they're too expensive for me to own, it's just to say it's like it's going to be a longer process for me to get these games. Whereas I look at the Dreamcast list, and I think of stuff like Skies of Arcadia is going to be one of the more expensive ones. Yes, it came out on the Dreamcast, but as you guys know, I'm a traditionalist, and I'm going to play them on the system, which is why, even though in the early days of when I started getting retro games and collecting them, I bought like Code Veronica X on the PS2, but I've since got rid of that since my copy didn't have a manual on that anyway. It's just so I can actually play it on the console that it originally came out on. So there's that, and then there's stuff like the original Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, which, again, I had both of those on the GameCube. I've played the second one before, but never completed it. And I've never played even though I did buy the first one on the GameCube, I never ever played it. I just got rid of them straight away, just because, again, like I said, I want to play it from where it started. Although, you know, with Sonic games, 3D games not having the biggest amount of appeal to people, but hey, I like them. But just looking at the list, and it's just thinking about games that, like Marvel vs. Capcom, those look like such amazing fighting games, and I really do want to buy them. And because I've got at least 26 games on the Dreamcast list so far, like, that's where I see myself going towards. Like, I feel like I need to do so much more research for the Sega Saturn. And I know there are a lot of people that love the Saturn, and I know that there's a lot of people that, like, looking at the libraries is actually pretty impressive. But I don't necessarily know if that is going to be enough for me to want to buy one. Not the, you know, the big size of the library, but it's just more about trying to work out whether or not it's going to be worth it. Because I look at the consoles that I have right now, like obviously the PS2 is a massive one for me. PS2 and the 360 are the two biggest ones for me. They're the ones that really stand out, and they have a library so massive that I'm going to carry on with them. Same with every other console I own, otherwise I wouldn't buy them. Which is why I don't want to make the mistake of buying either one of them and not being happy with it. And I think that's very important, because you either do that or you failed in your own, like, attempts to do something. And for me, that's not an option. I don't want to fail at this. So, look, again, just going over my lists, it's just like the Dreamcast to me is much more, what's the word? I suppose it's much more doable in that sense, because with the Sega Saturn, it's like I need to know that I'm going to be buying games for longer, in terms of I'm going to be buying games for a long time. And that's another thing that's very important to me, is like, with the game stuff I've already got, like my PS2 games I've got loads, the Xbox 360 games I've got loads, but the list is still massive, which means I'm still going to be buying loads and loads of different games. Whereas with, like, the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast, I want that to be the same as well. So obviously, like I said, 26 games for the Dreamcast is something, you know, especially going into to begin with, I'm going to have a few games to play with. So that's kind of what I'm really aiming towards here. I think it's something that is, I don't know, it's really hard to kind of fathom. That's another reason why I'm, you know, calling you guys out for this. Please let me know in the comments, you know, what is it about the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast do you like? You know, which ones do you own? What games do you recommend? Like, mainly, like, what ones must I own? And, you know, what hints and tips can you give me about stuff like the Saturn mainly? Because, like, the Dreamcast, I think I'm good. But, like, actually, no, now I say that, the Dreamcast, I know that there's stuff in there that doesn't last very long. Is it some of the things you can buy for it that don't last very long? That may just be me, something I've heard that could be completely wrong, but just let me know in the comments. And yeah, just let me know if there are any other, like, things I should know about them going into it and making that decision. I'm planning to visit Retro Games HQ in Swindon very, very soon. So I'm really thinking that that's going to be the time that I want to buy one of them, or both. Well, one of them probably at that time, but, you know, the kind of, so I may look at the Sega Saturn games as well as the Dreamcast games and just kind of compile a list. But, you know, I just want to know which one, because, again, I'm going to buy them boxed, because that's me. You know, if I can buy it boxed, I will. But just let me know in the comments, you know, what other things could I possibly, you know, what are the best kind of things to get game-wise and accessory-wise, you know, because I know there's lots of different things, like Virtual Cop looks like, I'm quite like the light gun aspect and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. And I've looked at gameplay for the majority of the games. I think all of the games are on my lists to make sure I know those are games I definitely want to buy. But what games are there that are kind of different from ones that are on other systems that you can recommend to me? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, really. I think that when I go to Retro Games HQ in Swindon, I definitely do want to buy one or the other. And I am going to be buying games for it. Because I do want to start playing it. And it's one of those things where, because I've missed out on so much, and it's one of those things where I just want to make sure that my collection is complete console-wise, so I can focus on the games. So now with Xbox One was my most recent console pickup, and I'm not really too bothered about the PS5 and the Xbox Series X yet, just because the Xbox Series X doesn't really have any exclusive to its console games yet. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm pretty sure it is the case. And the PS5 as well, it's just like Miles Morales, of course, even though you can get it on the PS4, I think it's a better experience to play on the PS5. And there's Godfall and some other stuff, and it's just like, yeah, I just think I would rather prefer to play it like that. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Again, let me know in the comments about all the things I've stated during the video. I just need help. I just need to figure it out, because when it comes to going to Swindon to Retro Games HQ, I really want to buy one of them and buy some games for it. So please let me know what you think I should get and what games you think I should get too. And before I go as well, I just want to say I do apologise. I do notice in my videos that I say a lot, and it annoys my twin brother, and it's quite funny. But the thing is, it's the actual phrase is one of those responses. Fun fact of the day: one of the responses that one of the phrases that your brain. Well, it's one of the. We're having a meltdown. Basically, it's one of those phrases that is listed as a phrase that you say where your brain then catches up with your mouth. So when I say obviously I usually a little bit of a pause, and then I start speaking again. So it just means that my brain is now trying to catch up with my mouth. So yeah. And I think that's the same with so as well. There's a lot of other different things like that, but I know a lot of people who watch my Guyver video, I know a couple of people commented saying, and was kind of made a joke about it, and I didn't take that as offence, but at the same time I do realise that what happens in my videos. I try not to, but again, it's just one of those things that it's just going to happen. But yeah, I'll stop talking about that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe here if you're new with notifications turned on for my latest videos. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. I will definitely appreciate any and all comments that I get for any hints and tips for making my decision. And obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, you will definitely see the choice that I make, and you will definitely have influenced that choice. So, as always, guys, take care of yourselves.